All right. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are on this beautiful planet. Welcome to the Inner Circle Live Trading Session. I'm your host for tonight's session, Benny Allen, along with my awesome partner, Mr. Ryan Carthage. We are happy and grateful for each and every one of you being here with us this evening as we take a look at the technicals and the fundamentals to see what we can capture in the Forex market. So, without further ado, let's make sure that we turn off any and all distractions, grab a pen and paper, take lots and lots of notes, and let's make sure that we participate and engage. Definitely ask those questions. We learn just as much from all of you as you do from us when you ask the awesome questions that you do. So don't hesitate, don't be scared, right? If you don't want to take your microphone off mute and ask the question, just go ahead and put it in the chat, and we'll make sure that we answer the question to the best of our ability. So with that being said, if everybody can hear me loud and clear, please drop me a 1 in the chat. Let me know that we are good to go. All right. Got it. Appreciate the participation. And we will get this party started for this evening. Make sure everybody has control of the microphone. Okay. And all right, I think we are all set. So let me exit out of here. And we are going to, 1 second, everybody. Give me 1 second. All right, can everybody see my screen good? Drop me a 2 in the chat. So make sure we are good to go. All right, so we are good. Ryan, good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well, bro. How are you, man?
Oh, man, doing great. Always glad to be here with you and all these awesome folks. So
Another opportunity, man.
Another opportunity, right, to make it happen, right? Always on the positive. Glass always half full or most of the time overflowing. So let's take a look at, we got Wednesday. Okay, we've got CBI for the UK came in under. Okay, so we've got some slowing going on there in regards to inflation, still way over, but just came in slightly. Okay, slightly under the 10% that was forecasted at 9.9. Haven't had a chance to really get into the nitty-gritty details of each sector that they measure for the CPI, but that came in below forecast. All right, so that was helpful. We got the PPI number that came in for the United States right on target. New Zealand GDP number came through pretty strong. That's pretty good with now that, they've got China just now trying to ease up on some of the lockdowns. We know that that's their largest trade partner. So that was pretty good news for New Zealand today. But Japan, the trade balance came through and missed forecast. So you can see on Trading Economics that Japan posts largest trade gap on record. So Japan's trade deficit now has surged to 2,817.3 billion in August from what was that, 653.4 billion in the same month a year earlier, exceeding market consensus of a gap of the Japanese yen of 2,398 billion. This was the 13th straight month of trade shortfall and the largest print on record as imports hit a fresh high amid strong domestic demand, surging commodity prices, and a weak yen, while export growth was below forecast. This is very important because Japan is a net exporter, right? That's what they do. Okay, so that weak yen, right, is really, really starting to hurt them. In Japan, Ryan was talking about yesterday about the potential intervention, right? Shared the article, it haven't done it since 1998. We saw some of the yen crosses start to sell off, which from a technical perspective, we were expecting, and we got that. So those are some large moves, but now we want to see if there's going to be more downside pressure on some of those yen crosses because it's not good, right? The export growth was below forecast, and their imports, right? So now they've got to flip. So they've gone from a trade surplus to a trade deficit, and they don't like to see that. That's going to put a lot of pressure on their consumer with the imports, right? So they've got a high demand, but it's very, very expensive right now. Okay, so we'll continue to watch that with the Japanese yen, but that was news everywhere. If you go over to investing.com, you can see Japan logs record trade deficit in August as energy imports surge. Okay, not good when you have a weak yen and energy is already expensive across the globe. All right, so I definitely think, Ryan, I think they're gonna do something probably a lot sooner than later. What do you think?
I'm definitely in agreement with that, man. I definitely think an intervention is near,
Yeah,
especially with that data.
yeah, I know, I know. And sometimes they get up, and they blow the smoke to try to turn the tide and get some relief. But now I think it's like, no, we're actually gonna have to do something this time. So we'll continue to watch. We got the Canadian dollar weakens to a 22-month low. We know that, right? Because we looked at the UCAD and we know the UCAD is moving to the upside. Okay, and then again the Kiwi, right? The New Zealand dollar rebounds more than expected in Q2, which is good for them. So hey, it's September, is rocking and rolling. We have at the Aussie starting at 9 o'clock. So that's the Melbourne Institute inflation expectations. But the most important thing is we've got employment data coming out. Now, for quite some time, Australia's had pretty low unemployment. And that's causing, when it comes to their inflation, that causes kind of an upward pressure on wages, right? Because you look at it when you got a bunch of people, employed, right? So in other words, the unemployment number is low. It typically spends, right? They typically spend that money, and then you get that upward pressure on inflation. So these numbers are super, super important for Australia. So it's going to be, I think the main thing is the bet in Australia now. I think their next meeting is in October, is whether it's going to be 50 basis points on the interest rate hike or 75. So these reports become very important because they've got some things going, right? So even though they've got the low unemployment that can cause some wage pressure, their wages haven't necessarily kept up the pace with inflation. So even though it's a concern for unemployment, they don't kind of have that what do they call it? That wage spiral that you can have when you have low unemployment and wages are accelerating at a fast rate. Their wages are kind of staying steady and is not keeping up with inflation. So that can cause another case with the consumer. But all in all, they don't have to deal with any type of wage spiral for the most part. Now, housing starts to fall. Okay. In Australia, we know real estate is huge there. So again, are we going to see 50 or 75 basis points in October? These numbers will go and tell us a little bit more in regards to what the direction the Reserve Bank of Australia may head come October. So we shall see. I think, they're expecting for unemployment 3.4, and for the employment change, we're looking at 35 and a half. So we'll see how those numbers come through. So good data, strong employment data, you may be looking more towards, the market may react to that thinking, hey, the sentiment starting to shift towards 75 basis points. But if you get, bad data, then you're thinking maybe just the 50, right? So maybe that'll back the Reserve Bank of Australia off the hawkish tone, depending on how these numbers come out. So it'll be interesting, right? Right at 9:30 for the employment change and the unemployment rate. So we will keep an eye on that as we go through the session. Ryan, anything else out there fundamentally that you're hearing about or what you're keeping your eye on?
No, sir. You covered it, man.
All right. So Any questions from anybody regarding anything that's going on fundamentally in the market right now? Nope. All right.
No, sir.
So let's head over to the charts. We will take a look at the dollar index, of course. And you see we're just bouncing, right? So after that explosive day that we had, where the market moved quite a bit, okay, off that CPI data, we can see that we've got that pause going on now with the dollar bouncing back and forth. So it has really gone nowhere since that CPI is just kind of just sitting there. And that's typically what happens when you get a big explosive move like that. Find some equilibrium, and then eventually it'll break out to the upside or to the downside. All right, so we see that daily resistance level there, and of course, way up here we say, hey, again, we're approaching the highest level since January 27, 2002. So we'll continue to keep an eye on the dollar. So I think it may indeed move to that level eventually. I don't know anything that's going to stop it right now. So that's that on the US dollar. Ryan covered the yen cross is pretty good today. So what I'm going to do tonight is I am going to start off the session with taking requests, and then I'll get into some of the things that I want to take a look at. So if you have any pairs right away that you want to look at this evening, we can start out doing that tonight. So give everybody a few seconds to put pair requests in the chat. YAU. All right. So since we're going to be looking at employment numbers for Australia, we will take a look at the Aussie dollar to start out. And all right, we go up top. We know overall. 1 second, get these out. All right, so we know overall on the Aussie dollar, this is from the weekly chart, we have an bearish went to the support at 66.79. Okay, we've been here before, we got a push, and so we'll see. It's knocking on the door again. We'll see if it actually breaks through this time. Maybe the data help give us a more definitive answer on exactly what it wants to do at this 66.79 level. So we are bearish with a D extension projected at the 1.18 D extension, and we are quite a ways away still, right? Call it 600 pips, right, to that D extension. And here's the fib. Okay. We actually have a stochastic, right? That momentum is coming out of the buy zone, so we're not overbought yet, and we're holding at this support. Okay. Overall bearish is just a matter of, hey, does it want to continue to correct, or do we get that push down on a lower time frame? So if we come to the 4, this is your current fib. So we've got a pull back right in between your 50 and your 61.8. So it tapped the sell zone, and then we got that strong push down as a result of the CPI data from the United States. Okay, strong dollar. So now we're just moving sideways. Okay, so it's just a matter of, do we want to pull back, okay, retest that 68.76 maybe, and then continue down. All right. Right now, right, 4 hours stochastic in the buy zone. Okay, so if you look at it, this long drawn out move, this impulse move, you've got a sub fib on that can give us, right, some good areas to focus on for that potential pullback. And yesterday we talked about the potential for the crown, okay, for that crown like that. All right, potential move back to the upside like so. All right, so that's what we're waiting on. We'll see what happens as a result of the employment numbers that come out for Australia. Any questions on that? You zoom in on the 1 hour. Okay, awesome. So, all right, boom, just be patient. Be patient. Okay. If you're already short, nice, right? Already short on this pair, it's moving in your direction. I know some people have been short on this for a long time, right? Looking at your higher time frames. So we're looking for a continuation ultimately. Of course, price is going to correct. We're not surprised by that, right? We get these pullbacks. It doesn't scare us out of short trades that we may be involved in. It's going to let them ride, okay? Pullbacks give us an opportunity to get back short, right? Add to the position if we're already active. That is the Aussie dollar. So we had a Euro JPY, okay? Take a look at that. Go from the top down, and we come into our weekly. All right, long-term stochastic is still coming out of the buy zone. So momentum-wise, it's saying, hey, we got some more upside potentially here. But that doesn't mean we're not going to get the correction first. Okay, struggling at this 144.26 level, 144.22 level. We've already been here before. We're visiting it again, right? Price has a memory. Strong bullish candle. Tried to break through on the second candle, right, this week, and it couldn't maintain this bullish momentum. So we come to the daily. Markets are going to tell us a story. Yep, we got a fib, new AB fib. We've got a 382, just a little bit shy of a 382, and we're at this level. So you can see now at 144.22, from a daily chart perspective, not only did we hit it twice, it's 1, 2, 3, now 4 times at that 144.26 level. Stochastic is in the sell zone, but we do have a Kijinson, a Tinkinson that's flat. Both of them are flat, actually. Okay, so strong level. But if we break through this 142.29, right, we're looking at a continuation down. And as we start this Asian session this evening, you can see that it's still pushing bearish, but we're flat here. Okay, we're flat. We've got some equilibrium. So on the lower time frames, okay, see here, you may, don't be surprised if you see, right, a little bounce, right? You see a little bounce and a pullback, okay, on that, right? You have the potential for a crown here as well, okay? See there, left tip, center tip, right? Pull back to that level, okay, and then back down, all right? So, I traced over that wrong. So look here, okay, top. We want this to break, which it did, back and pull down like that. So we'll see. All right, so we've got a bullish cloud there. We've got some strong structure in that area that we need to break through. But if you come down to your one, you can see that on a 1 hour, smaller wave, we're already below with that impulse move. We're already below. So that's where we see, hey, maybe, right, stochastics in the sell zone. Not sure if it's going to make it quite through there. Maybe it hovers, and then we get that pullback to a high price, and then we get short, okay? And that'll fall in line with that crown, right, to the downside. Okay? So we're sitting low. So if you took it short, congratulations, nice move. Broke through the cloud, okay? Tinkerson, TK crossover you had up there higher, push through. You got your lagging span below price, and everything's below the cloud, and we've got a bearish cloud right up ahead. So potential, because we know down AB boundary, we know that we're in a 118, 127 zone. So that's more confirmation that this support level may initially hold and we get a pullback. All right. So just be careful with that one. If you're looking to enter, see what happens at this level at 142.29. Any questions? Good.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. So NZD CHF. Okay. Let's take a look at it and go from the top down. We know we've been bearish. Okay. Ooh, sitting at that 57.56 though. Look at that. All right. Look at that, everybody. So the question is, do we get the correction? Right? We're below the cloud, 118, 127 zone. The daily, we're trying to find support. Okay, we are right now, we've got a stochastic in the buy zone, sitting at key weekly support. Okay. Maybe we start to get that move up. We don't have a 382 on this fib. Okay. Don't have a 382 on this fib. Okay. Look at that. You got your Tinkerson and your Keachinson running over top of price right now. So we have definitely been bearish. Okay. Momentum to the downside, but now, hey, do we start to fall in line with the swing? Okay. So there you go. We've got a 4-hour D extension just below weekly support. Be interesting if this level holds. But so how do you play that? You say, wow, I'm at a weekly support. I got some confirmation that this is a potential exhaustion zone. So how can I play this, and try to take advantage of it? Well, on your one, you could try to play a cloud break. Okay, so you can see we got a little fib going here, but it's struggling right here at this cloud. So let me clear this up by just taking the fib off like this. Okay. So it's trying. So right now, you don't have that confirmation. Right? You don't have your confirmations if you're using the cloud. You want to see it break through. This one should be high on your radar though, because if it does hold and if it does break and all your confirmations align, we could be moving. Right? We could be moving to the upside for at least a wave. All right. If you're using your trend lines, right? There's a trend line. Wouldn't get more aggressive than that. Okay, wouldn't get more aggressive than that. But how I would play this, because it's been so bearish, and we know that on the 4-hour we're getting close to this D extension. This is one that I'm definitely playing. I'm not going to aggressively take it off the break. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for that price to break and pull back to me. Right. So then once I get a high on the opposite side of that trend line, I connect the prior low with that high, and then I'm running my fib like this. Okay. So if you're watching this, that means what? You've got time. Okay. So whether you're playing a cloud break or you're waiting for the pullback, right, with a new fib and a reversal, you have time. Okay. Now, if you're playing it outright like this, then you can also, hey, I want extra confirmation. When that price pulls back, I want to put my trend line to run over it, right? Put me a downtrend line like so. Okay. And then if I get that break bullish, okay, then I'll look to get long, okay, for that ABCD wave. Okay. Questions on that?
No, sir. It's clean.
All right. Now, for our newer folks, follow that closely because you can play every single reversal like that. You don't have to be so aggressive, catching it off the break. You don't have to have a fear of missing out once price takes off on the opposite side of that trend line, because we understand that the market moves in waves. And at some point, that trade is going to come back and take back a percentage of what it gained, right? Hence your Fibonacci levels, right? The percentages, okay? So in this example, the market will come back and take back 50% prior to continuing on its uptrend. So here's a low, here's a higher high, here's a higher low, and your continuation, okay? That's what you can look for, patience. Even if, all right, even if you use the cloud, okay? Even if you use the cloud and you say, you know what? I like being patient and waiting on the cloud. Same thing. Why? Because oftentimes, okay, and we've covered this before, okay, but it's always good to get the repetition. So right now, we've got lagging span coming through price. We got a TK crossover trying to occur here. Okay. So once price breaks through, if we wait for that lagging span to come through, oftentimes price has taken off. And if you wait for that pullback, oftentimes by the time price gets to a high point and it's getting ready to come pull back, your lagging span is through the cloud. So sometimes if you just wait, right, for price to push up, get beyond the cloud, okay, get beyond your cloud, that lagging span will follow through, right? Right? So we'll get that lagging span to work its way up. Sometimes it's so explosive off the cloud break that it'll push up, and then you can wait for price to form a high and then pull back to you. So then it becomes the same type of scenario. Right? So now you're just using the cloud and confirmations from the cloud as opposed to, you know, a solid trend line break. Okay? Everybody follow me on that. So it's literally this, you're looking for the same thing. Yep, patience, big moves. And sometimes you wait and it may not be this week. It's what we stress that so much, like, and it's not like working a job where you have to go to work every day to make sure you get paid every 2 weeks. It's not that. That's not what this is. And I'm saying it from experience because it was so hard for me to wrap my head around that. Right? So hard to wrap my head. Me, like other people, we've been working since we were teenagers, right? Getting paid every 2 weeks, every week, whatever. And sometimes it's hard to break that mold. And you feel like in order to feel comfortable with your income, you have to produce and work and make money. So I have to be on the chart every single day and make money, right? In order to help me with that feeling of, being a wage earner and getting paid every 2 weeks or whatnot. So that's not the game. Okay, so that's just how it was for me. It may not be like that for other people in the beginning, but I know that was one of my issues. Okay, so this now when this pulls back, so we say, hey, you got some options for that stop. You can put your stop below the A, right? Below the A boundary, because as long as it doesn't take out the A, it has no choice but to go your way. Or you can put your stop below the C. Right? So you can put your stop loss below the C. Like this. At that point, that would be your C. Well, what happens is sometimes, depending on how price breaks to the cloud, sometimes you can put your it'll change, right, before this happens. But sometimes you could just put your stop. If you like a tighter stop below your C, sometimes you could just put it right below the cloud by the time you see the price action lines up for you. And that's kind of like putting it tighter, like underneath the C. Or you can keep it below the A at that point in time. However, but it's the same thing, you're just using a different instrument for your confirmations. Okay. So that's how I would play that. I would let the thing break and come back to me, right? And then show me that it wants to get long. Show me that this is going to form a higher low, right? Swing high, swing lows. Okay, form that C, and then I'll look to take the shot to get long. And it does. It takes patience, but those are high probability setups. Okay, that's that. That's the NCD Swissy. So we're sitting at key support. All right, and I know my eyes light up anytime I see it sitting at a key support, especially weekly or monthly, and daily. So at some point, the momentum shifts. Okay. What else do we have? CAD Yen. Okay. So we'll take a look at that. That's been pushing long for a while. Okay. So this is where we are on a daily, riding strong. Okay. But look, we hit that D extension. See that high starting to form? We don't quite have it yet because this is our center wick high candle right now. Okay. So 2 to the left. We don't have a completed candle to the right. Okay. In the new day, we need that to solidify the high because then you'll have another resistance level. That'll be a daily resistance level, but we need that candle to close. You've got your Tinkinson and your Keaton starting. This is flat, right? Your Keaton is flat. The Tinkinson is still in the upward trajectory, but it's starting to kind of look like it wants to go a little bit flat. All right, and the gap is starting to widen there. And this is on the daily, but it's moved down a bit. Okay, it's moved down a bit. So if we come to the 4, okay, similar type price action is making a move down. Here we go. So this has been a beautiful play. So the key is going to be this 4-hour one hasn't finished out yet, but we know we've hit a D extension. So it's just a matter of how far, okay, off that daily D extension has gotten hit, how far does it want to pull back? What we need to look at is the fact that on the 4-hour fib, now higher time frames control the lower time frame. So whenever it's time for that correction to occur, it's going to be volatile to the downside. The fact that this 4-hour fib has double bottomed in the zone, right, for a deep correction doesn't matter. Sometimes when your daily time frame fib has been hit, it can force this price all the way down, okay, because higher time frames control the lower time frames. But what we want to see right now, near term, is what happens when we get to this 107.63 and past resistance becomes future support. Okay, that's the key. All right. So first we've got this level here on the 4 that needs to break. Here. That level needs to break. And then we've got 107.63. That's going to be a key support. Okay. So we'll see what happens. But it's moving down. It's moving down. All right. Before I go to the 1, Cassandra, I saw you had your hand up.
Okay. I had asked to see this one because I pulled, when I pulled the fib on the daily chart, I drew the, the circle from where I started and brought that down to the 4-hour.
Mhm.
When I pull my fib on the 4-hour, I'm not getting the same fib that you're getting.
You pulled your circle from where? Here?
From, okay, my circle on the daily, let me go to the daily, is at, it's down at 84. Let me open up my chart. $84. Where is it?
66.
Yeah, it's right. I've got 84.97 right up above it. I can't see that number.
Okay.
84.61.
Okay. So this was your C, right? All right. That you circled, because you circled it and you took it down.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So you circled it and you took it down, but you see how this finished out now. You see that? See how you have a whole other fib? Look, A, B, C, D. See?
Okay. Gotcha.
A, B, C, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things that you could do when you get these impulsive moves is go to your 4. Go to your daily. Okay. Like that. Because you can see, look how important you hardly haven't got any deep retracements there. So sometimes it can get hard to track. So what you do is go to your daily and go to that low. See this low right here? See it?
Yes.
Right here in this area, that right at that 73.95, that weekly support.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And circle that and take that down.
Okay, and then pull it from there.
Yeah, and then run your fib, and then run your fibs from there.
Okay.
Right, run your fibs from there.
Because when I did run it on the 4-hour, I'm showing my B is right below a 4-hour resistance at 110.51, and I'm coming down like you, but I'm already near the what is this? The 20.236.
Because what you're doing is and it's fine. All that's tradable. So what you're
Okay.
doing is you're running because of where you took your C. You're
Mm-hmm.
tracking these smaller waves.
Mm-hmm.
You see this here? So like you
Yeah.
can make any play. That's the beautiful thing about the sequence, right? So I can take this level here, which is this leg here is, if I do this right here, this is pretty much the equivalent of me dropping down to the 1 hour time frame. Okay, that leg. But I could put those on my 4 hour chart if I wanted to. So these are tradable setups. So you see this larger move, and this is for everybody, right? This is the beauty, right, of understanding how waves work in the market. Here's this major fib here. Okay. Now this, okay, is my ABCD leg overall. Like this. Right. See that? Right. So if I'm taking this fib, I'm looking at holding this trade, but you don't have to. If I know, like I know I'm in the C to D push zone, I could just as easily trade these waves here, right? So look, A, B, C, D, right? So this is just taking it on more of a micro level, right? I know I'm in my C to D push zone. A, B, C, D, boom. A, B, C, D, boom. Now we're right back in that cycle. A, B, C, D, boom. So when you take it from like those C's and you bring it down, you're just trading on smaller waves. Just like right here, right? If you take it from that low, look, those are A, B, C, D waves until that got taken out. See? Right? The waves are all over the place. Right? So if you take it from a C and bring it down, just know that you're just trading the smaller waves along the path. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Hope it does.
Yes. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess it was. So I had drawn it out, and I went back and I looked at what we did this morning, and I was like, oh, something's not adding up here. So yeah, where I got messed up was that on the daily, it had already hit the D extension. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Brandy, yep, it matters. It matters where you drop your fibs, because if you drop them in the wrong direction, you're gonna eventually get torn up in the market. Right? So you want to stay along the path of your directional bias. Right? Mm-hmm. That's it. Right? I know where you're going with that. Right? So you would prefer, right? So if I'm uptrending, right? If I'm moving up in this uptrend and I'm like, okay, here's my major overall level here. Here's my C. I'm looking at, oh, my bias is bullish for the CAD yen. Then I'm looking at going into an up push zone. Now, whether I trade that, whether I put in a okay, and it's actually pretty awesome, right? Because it allows all style of traders to take advantage of it. So if this is my sweet spot, we know that we could trade our sweet spots. Say I could put a limit in. I could put a limit in order here. Okay. Like so, I could put in a limit somewhere around there. It's like, hey, it's in my buy zone, I'm taking it. Or once price reaches your buy zone, you can say, what? It's the same game over and over again. You can say, you know what? I'm drawing a trend line. And if it breaks it, I won't wait for a break and a pullback. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to deploy my fibs. Because what this is telling me is once it lands in my zone, right now, that's a projected 1.618. So how you can look at this is you can say, I might not swing trade this, right, and hold positions. I might just, this is telling me that, boom, I got 1,100 pips, almost 1,200 pips of bullish buying potential. How I trade that is totally up to me as a trader, right? That's why we're big on traders becoming independent and learning how to do things on your own, right? Because I might want to swing this. So my lot size, my account size, how I'm handling my risk may be totally different than yours, because you're saying I'm trading this like this. Okay, for example, right? I'm trading it like this. Boom. Stop below the A in my sweet spot, got an entry, projected D extension is here. Okay, 1.618 D extension. You might trade it like, no, I'm using my capital fib to tell me my possible U-turn zone and to show me my projection. But what I like to do is I like to trade it on the smaller level. I'm gonna trade these small ABCD waves. So you wait, you trade your rules. I need a trend line break. I need price to come into my zone. I need a reversal to occur. I need a trend line break. I need a pullback. Why? Because in essence, if we're just talking nuts and bolts trading, technical analysis, that pullback is creating what? A higher low. So now price is creating lower lows and lower highs on the retracement. Now, if I get that break and a pullback, that tells me there's a high potential that the momentum is shifting. And now if it makes higher highs and higher lows, we know that we're looking at a potential uptrend. Okay, so your stop may be here. Your TP may be here. Okay, when it hits this extension, you're out. So you're out of the trade, right? Whatever, for 346 pips. So your risk was 175, 360, boom. I played that wave. And then I've got close to 1,200 pips of buying potential. So now that I'm out of this trade, I'll wait for price to take off again. I need a retracement. Now your rules may say, I only take trades off to 61 and 786. So you may not take this trade. Holding off. Now you're waiting because I know I've got 1,200 pips of buying potential. I'm waiting for the next fib, these sub fibs, to give me my potential entry. If it pulls back here, I'm going to look to get in. Whereas I may use these same sub fibs to add positions, okay, while I play the swing. All right, I got 1,192 pips. I'm in. Boom. Well, I'm going to use these sub fibs that every time it gives me a pullback, I'm going to put in another 0.25%. Every time it pulls back to my zone, didn't do it there. If I get it here, I add another 0.25%. So now I'm compounding this trade, which in essence will come out to more than 1,192 pips. I'm just stacking the trade. Only way you decide what works for you, right, is to keep grinding it out, right? Show up for yourself, like Ryan says, 40 sessions. Do your work on your own, okay? What you do when nobody sees you, right? It's what makes you a champion, okay? And figure out, man, I like these type of setups. All right, I got some hands raised. What type of questions do we have?
Benny, just to clarify what I meant, I was talking about in terms of like if it turned and it's going into a upward trend and you see where it started way back, like you start from the furthest, when it first started, rather than like closer up to where price is now. That's what I meant.
Okay.
So is that right, or should you start closer to where price is?
With your fib, I'll
Yes.
always go back. All right.
Okay.
Find that low.
And
Find
you're
that
like
low.
from your higher time frames, right?
Yep. And that, there's really no magic to that. Your higher time frames, because it's zoomed out more, enables you just to identify it easier. Right?
Okay.
As opposed to me being, like on the one and just keep scrolling back trying to find that low. That becomes hard because you can only zoom out so much.
Yeah.
Right. So instead of you zoom and trying to find it, you just go up to your higher time frame and you can just see it. Right. Like that's the low.
And I was wondering if that was right. And sometimes I don't do it, but I'm gonna make it a practice to do it more.
Yeah, it just helps you with your accuracy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just helps you with your accuracy. Yep. What other questions do we have?
Ms. Cassandra, you got a question?
Oh, no, I didn't pull my hand down. My question's been
Okay,
answered.
okay.
Thank you.
Yep. So we're good. So let's see, let's see what happens. All right. Let's see what happens at these levels. But that's your top down analysis on your CAD in there. All right. Markets are amazing. They're amazing. Yeah. Plenty of money to be made off of these setups. So, yeah. Okay. What else do we have?
That was the last one that I saw in the chat. Can we take a look at it's getting close. It hasn't broken yet, but that the pound Swissie?
Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah. Trying to break that 111 in the cloud at the same time, eh?
Yeah.
That's the 4, right? So we're looking at potential crossover. It might move sideways a little bit. That's on your 4, but that 1, it is getting close.
And it is playing around that 111 level. You know what I mean? So watching that closely too, just to see. So ultimately, want to see a break back above that too, and hold it.
Yeah, it's taking its time, eh?
It is.
It's taking its
It
time. It's
definitely
but it's a pound press, so it's a mover. You see that 182.
when it goes, it goes.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's that 182 on the ATR, so it can definitely move. So definitely worth waiting on. I wouldn't mind to see it push down a little bit lower and then explode, but it may not though. It may hold and break. We'll see if the confirmations align on that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's a strong level though. It's a strong level. All righty. There was a couple that I wanted to look at. This Aussie CAD. It's 947. What went down? Did we see what the let me see. Oh, missed on both. What we looking? What are these Aussies looking like? Didn't do much. Didn't do much at all. Had to read into that. But overall, right, this has been bouncing around. We're back above this this 88, 85 level here. Let me what was I eyeing up earlier? Just break back below this 88.77, but it's pushing up. So I was wondering if we were going to get this continuation down with a break below this level. But we'll see. It's probably going to move sideways, but if it gets back below this level, takes out this low here, then it's looking like we're probably going to continue to the downside. See here? You can really see that 88.77 level good there. So there's the pullback, which we covered that on a lot of these last night, right? So we're getting that, looking like we're getting that pullback. So we'll wait, but I'd like to stay short on that. So if it moves to a high price on this subfit, right? That crown, again, that crown type action, right? So here, like so, right? Give us a nice healthy pullback, okay? And then back down. That's that low, right? And then move back down. So let's see what happens. See if we can get that, but I'll be eyeing that for the short. If we can get it to pull back to a high price. All right, so that's a future one. So pull this trend line up like that and just watch it take the ride. See if it stays above it and moves back. Okay. Or if it's going to break below that 88.77. But beautiful push out of the sell zone. Now it's correcting. Any questions on that Aussie CAD?
No, sir.
All right.
Take a look at Aussie Swiss also.
Okay. Here we are. Right, I've been watching this, and I was hoping for the pullback. We've got a nice correction. If you come here on a 1, right, it's moving up. It's almost to that target one area. But I was hoping that I would get on a lower time frame, hoping that we can get a pullback before we got to that target 1. But even if it hits this extension, everybody, this is one, because I think it, Ryan, let me know what you think. But my mindset was, if we get the pullback now, great. But even if it hits that extension, I'm thinking a pullback and a continuation.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking at. On the 4, you got 80-20 set up.
Okay. I'll go there in a second. So something like a correction, it'll be a new fib, and then looking to move back up. All right.
Yep.
Maybe we still get that correction. We'll see. We'll see. So on your 4,
I just ran it off of a high out of that range.
this one here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Oh, look at that, eh? We'll take it.
So that pullback will be nice to give a nice setup entry opportunity off that low.
Yeah, indeed. Let's go move higher. So let me do this. I'm gonna take that 4-hour 80-20. That looks like that wants to move. So make that a longer play. And bring that down. Okay. So that's there. So we can hit that, right? So let it hit that D and hit that 1-hour target. Definitely thinking more upside. So if we get to the D extension here, we'll wait for the new fib to set up. Okay. So it'll look something right like that, wherever it decides to form that high, and then we'll get that pullback. Right. Pullback and then that continuation. We'd like to see. Right to the upside. That'd be nice. That'd be nice. All right, so keep an eye on that Aussie Swissy, everybody. Looks like it's making a move. So I see, right? You're playing those Swiss crosses.
Yeah, I'm watching them, man. They're all trying to make a move, and what's been interesting, I've been kind of looking at it, and I looked at it some more this afternoon, but the Swissy has been more of the risk off asset.
It has
to
been.
the yen.
Has been.
So as we get closer to the U.S. rate statement towards the end of the month, could we see that? Could we see some profit taking until that point, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then see those potentially turn back over. So
I like it. I like it because it's definitely been a strong safe haven play.
Yeah.
Let me look at the pound Aussie. So I've been tracking this one too.
Ooh.
So on a 1 hour, right, we're above cloud, so this A might get taken out. But the 4, that 4 may hold off a deep correction. So let me clear this like that. Okay, so come to this 4. It's the 4 hour. Right. Let me scroll this back. Take this off. Okay. So if we look at our 4 hour like so, it's pulling back. So I want to see if that holds. I want to see if that holds. So I'll take this larger fib because we already know if it makes a deep correction on the pair that moves on the 4, it's going to take out that 1 hour A, but that doesn't mean that uptrend is over. So link this down like so. Make that look like that. So that's your 4-hour fib on the 1. And I want to see if that holds. I want to see if that holds because we're still moving down. Stochastic, we're not in the buy zone yet, but once it gets into the buy zone, you'll have a 4-hour, 1-hour alignment, and it might just be ready to go at that point. So we shall see what happens there. So not quite ready yet, but it could be a play in the future, right? As long as that A is not taken out. And that's that longer term 4-hour 382 target here. So if we can get it, right, that's 900, that's 300 and something, right? Back to that resistance level and the D extension. So definitely got my eyes on that one. Any questions on the pound Aussie? Right. Just trying to figure out when it's going to be the pound's turn, right? To make the U-turn.
Yeah. They're making it tough.
It is. It is, but we know it moves in cycles, right? The euros took a pounding for a long time, and then all of a sudden you got the reversal when it came into the major lows. So now maybe it's the pound's turn to do the same thing. Thing. At one point during the year, it was the Aussies, you know. So we'll see how that plays out, but see if it gives us good confirmation on the break there. All right, there was I want to take a look back at this pound CAD too, because it's just, let's see it. Let me go out because I'm looking at this because look, you see, we've got that new on the daily, we've got a new AB boundary, new fib, right? And it's trying to push. This is 152.31. That's a monthly level. I'm trying to see if it's going to hold below that level, if it breaks above it, because then we're looking for it to keep moving. So on the 4, okay. So depending on how that price action moves, right? Major level 152.53, and see if we can get it to break that trend line. I don't want to get too aggressive with it, right? But if we start to see that move, right, off the lows, right, off the lows, and it holds, I'm going to want to get long on that. Okay. So that's a good one to watch out for. Just be patient. Be patient. Any questions on that pound CAD?
No, sir.
All righty. Let's take a look at this UCAD. Okay. All right. So here's a prime example of what we were talking about earlier. Okay. From that question that Brandy asked that I completely misunderstood, but it ended up a good lesson. So here, right, is your break. Okay. There's your break of the cloud. So, yep, look, we held at support 129.83. And then look, you've got this impulse move up. And what we're waiting to see is, can we get price to pull back? And then the continuation bullish. Okay. Because our projection, based off this retracement, right, initially 400 pips away. Okay. 400 pips away. So we've got time to let this pull back and then continue long. All right, so that's what we're looking for. So this is your capital fib. This is your sub fib. Okay. Stochastics in the buy zone on the 1. What do we have on the 4? Here. Okay. All right, that's from that CPI data. But we have, right? We have it. Where's stochastics in the sell zone? So we want to see a correction. Right? Give us a nice discounted price and then a continuation. Okay, so we should be able to get that fib on it now. and then the continuation long. So if you missed that initial move, just be patient. Questions on the UCAT?
No, sir. Definitely looking for the pull for these pullback on these dollar pairs.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I definitely plan on staying long the dollar unless something drastically changes fundamentally. Here's the dollar Swiss. Okay, just moving sideways. It happens after explosive moves, right? After big time fundamental occurrences. But this is where we are from the daily, right? That's another look at the daily. Okay, so far, right? How we put it in the newsletter, right? The head and shoulders pattern that Ryan identified. And right now, right, we're looking bullish. Okay? We're looking bullish. So we come to the 4. Okay, there's that break we got. Nice break. Okay, nice break. And again, we're looking for corrections. Can we get corrections to give us a deep discounted price before we continue moving long? Okay. And then this is your UJ. That's the 1 hour, kind of just moving a little bit rangy. But look how it took back. That huge move. Look how it brought it and took it back. Okay. No need to rush. I think you're gonna miss out. Okay. Doing one of those fundamental events, because this used to be me. Entry. Straight drawdown. All right. That was me, and that was never fun. All right. So that's where that sits on the 1. And take a look at the 4. All right. Oh, put that back up there. All right. There we go. Okay. So we know we hit that daily D extension. I was just trying to make a decision. It's kind of just moving sideways. It's rangy. It's rangy. So we'll see what it wants to do next. Okay. There we are on the daily. All right. Any questions on any of the pairs that we covered?
No, sir. I think we're good.
All right. Well, you guys gonna make it easy on me tonight. Okay. Well, that's all we have for this evening session. We'll be right back tomorrow morning, 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Everybody, thanks for being here. Have a great night.
Good night.
Good night.